They have star players. If they can work out through the comms, I think they are golden.
Well, we're going to find out as Game 1 is ready to go.
We are indeed golden, Alan. Well done with that pun 5 seconds before the encounter even showed up. 3 gold augments.
Are you dressed up for gala?
I am dressed up for day 1, which is not quite the gala just yet. But we'll get there, we'll get there. It's going to be a very exciting week of TFT and a very exciting second series on this A stream. Going to start up here. Let's go down, Alan, maybe talk about the roles players might have in this series and in these teams. I think it's important in 4v4. What we saw in the qualifiers last set is that Salvi on the amp line especially was usually the win-out player, the player who risked it all but also was rewarded with those first places a lot of the times and was kind of the carry really for this team. Where players like Solgasang and Lusher were more cleanup duty, more playing rerolls, more playing for the stable fast 8 comps, and when jungler was kind of the X factor. With Lusher being the guy who really likes to cook a lot. I think historically in TFT, not just in this team, he is one of the most creative players in EMEA in terms of weird artifacts. I'm going to play a weird line and have success.
That's why I'm worried for a jungler because he's extremely good cook, and this is not the patch to cook. You are very limited in the lines you can take, and that's why you don't have essentially that good of a win-out fast 8 comps as a side of the Yumi. Sorg, people still consider Sorg being there, but it's very portal dependent. It needs to be dry on resources. Opponents cannot have too much frontline power where you can actually take it down with the Sorgs. And the main win con is the boy we see on the screen on the Potable.
Yeah, Potable, we said maybe we'd see how his mental would be, if he'd be tilted or not. I think he's not tilted yet. He has GP pair in stage 1.
He just needs a bow.
Just needs a bow, maybe 2 ideally to have both the Rage Blade and
3 good components.
The Kraken Slam and the Edge of Night. So has 3 of the best in slot components, just missing the other side of the story.
And we have Pandora, so you can just go, you have a per GP. I think you're going to lock it in just to go for the GP2 and with the beast items. I'll be surprised if we're going to see anything else. Maybe healing cores, but again, Pandora with those components makes the most sense. That's exactly what we're going to see. No items just to slam yet, so we'll have to see some rotation. Probably not going to hold up on anything. Yeah. We just need to see bow, BF in the first. You can even work with some Sterak to slam for tempo and move it to Yasuo later on.
And even it was you can consider playing more for tempo, not for Pandora's in stage 2, but he couldn't slam anything, so it just doesn't make any sense. He's going to be losing most of these fights anyway, and he doesn't want to at this point because he can just have perfect items from Pandora's itself. Wants to try and preserve HP, play strongest board, try and get some extra gold from GP. Solo leveling, one of the favorite augments of all of our competitors this week because it's just very strong in stage 2.
Yeah, so usually you want to play it with some strong melee unit that has access to healing, shielding, and has a decent damage, and build in a vamp so it has to be a fighter. So Naafiri is one of the better ones. Obviously you want GP. GP is the true Astral Beast unit for that, but hey, you can't always handpick.
If it's a unit that looks like he could 1v9 in real-life combat, then it's a good unit for solo leveling, basically, is the easier way to put it.
Thoughts on slamming Titan here, just to make sure you get maximum value of the solo leveling?
It's a consideration, but it's also a bow and it's also a GP meta, so it would feel very bad. Yeah, it's a consideration. You could
so maybe keep a bow, slam Steadfast, like it's a frontline item, just slam something to get maximum value of the solo leveling. On the other side, we are looking at the Gobo board. We see Salvage Beam, so there will be some just tempo slams. Doesn't have to be necessarily locked in within those items. However, Razeblade Slam, Bramble Slam are absolutely meta, because the meta is AD reroll, which is mostly GP, or Jhin Mundo. So very good defensive item for the tank, and then Rageblade being premium for both GP and Jhin. So Gobo is looking pretty good on the component side.
Does have over 9,000, so trying to index into scaling this Katarina, if he's going to be playing for Katarina reroll, of course, not locked in just yet, as you mentioned, is one of the players, and this is one of the reasons why Salvage Beam is so strong in 4v4. It's very important in terms of what line you select, and it's very important to have flexibility to pivot out of a line, to maybe play that sacrifice role where you're contesting someone else on the other team that has a very good spot to play for a win out, for example. So overall, really good augment pickup for Gobo here.
Yeah, the thing about the over 9,000, you really need to hit the mana region on the Katarina. If you don't see like the mana region after first 5 fights when you're opening with it, you might be just dropping it out because this is not good enough, not strong enough. And we've seen the Nars on the bench, so he could be looking into the Jhin pivot later when he finds the Mundo.
And a lot of things in TFT in this set for stage 1 and stage 2, especially with power-ups, is going to be I'm going to index into this unit. If I hit the nuts, I commit to it. If I don't, I can just pivot out of it, basically.
So we see Opal hit Silver Destiny into the preparation. Really good line, really good argument for when you play a reroll. And we see already Mundo 2 on the board, and there is Jhin being prepped up. So very strong spot from the Opal. Having BF open, could go for even showed already slam on the Mundo, probably prioritizing Dragon Claw and Anima Visage, because Mundo is a bit overstated unit and can essentially 1 versus 9.
Stars are born for Solo Gasang. Currently has a Garen 2 on the board, maybe pivoting or angling Katarina as a 2-cost reroll. They can hit a really big power spec in stage 3 potentially.
We see a lot of players are greeding their components just to make sure they have good items. They are not slamming for tempo. Like whoever can slam, they can slam if the items make sense for later parts of the game. But items like BT, players just opt to completely not slam and rather suck their stage events and make such an item.
Going to be split priority on this carousel for the first pick between White Jungler and Gobo. We'll see who are going to be the most sought after units and items here. The bow, of course, only on 1 cost, so hurting some of the GP players a little bit. BF sword as well, and Udyr is going to be always an interesting option. We'll be going to Gobo here.
Udyr is one of the most important units to have for comps as Jhin, for the Kayle, for the GP, because it's a duelist enabler, it's Juggernaut enabler, and it's Mentor enabler. So when it comes with such a premium component as BF, it will be the prio pick. And even though Bow was well sought out, players opt to not go for it because it's again 1 cost, it holds back your econ, so not definitely a prio for them.
We're seeing for Solo still. I mean, he could still be the GP player, of course. So there's no really relevant 1 cost in GP reroll, so you can just buy your 1 cost for tempo, basically, which he's done, I think, with a Garen, and then just try and fish for specifically GP. I think is the biggest spike over the Kabuko here. And
we see Salvi probably angling towards the Battle Academia as the only real comp that's good enough to actually being able to fight against all the scaling comps as Mundo, whereas Sorks very heavily struggles. You can ulti Mundo 3 times and he will not die with Karma, where the Yumi outscales, especially with the true damage, and it can actually battle. So I wouldn't be surprised if throughout the 5 days we're going to see Salvi being 70% of the default line, which is Battle Academia.
Yep. We're seeing now the Kraken Slam on the Aatrox solo leveling from White Jungler, which pretty much indicates he's playing for GP. He will be one of the GP reroll players on this MOUZ gaming team, with GP on the bench as well. So we're seeing here every single kill that Aatrox gets is going to be very, very relevant. Gnar holding its AG, not the most typical, but I think players started to realize halfway through this patch how powerful some 1 cost and 2 costs are, Gnar, Mundo especially. And even if you're playing on AP, sometimes it's better to hold these AD units, especially Mundo, play a Juggernaut frontline, and then just pivot on your roll down to Karma or to Yumi on stage 4.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing some weird units that are being default to be AD, holding AP items just because the unit is so good. And like, again, the slam such as the JG, it still gives you crit, so it's still partially beneficial.
We saw Solo Gasang's offerings for Stars Are Born, ends up going for the Kai'Sa instead over the GP, so I think it's a clear indication White Jungler will be the GP player for MOUZ. And we saw it, I think, particularly in the Game 1 of Vitality versus Alcatia, where that's going to be most of the meta in 4v4. There's 2 Yumi players, there's 2 Karma players, there's 2 GP players, and there's 2 AD Flex or X Factor players. So expect to see that kind of formation of comps very, very often across this week.
To be fair, I think we've seen so far GP being underplayed.
Yeah.
I think 2 GP is not enough per lobby. I think we should see at least 3, sometimes 4 GPs, just for the tempo, roll down and go level up afterwards, because the unit on 2-star is so strong. And then we should see at least 2 players go playing Mundo with whatever come with Kayle Fast 9, with the Jhin reroll, just different variation with Gnar reroll. And then I don't think we should see 2 Karma, because the Sorks again are not good enough into the meta. And yeah, I agree about the Battle Academia. I think it should be like 2 players playing Prodigy plus Battle Academia as 2.
One thing I would say is that Prodigy's is very reliant on hitting Leona 2 and just having enough tankiness for Yumi to ramp and scale naturally as a unit. And in 4v4, when players are understanding your, where your power spec is coming from, they can hold Leonas, they can make your life a little bit more difficult in stage 4.
What's the lifeline for the players is they can still play Cassante.
Yeah.
Because we are playing Rakan, and there is 1 flex slot, we don't usually hit Seraphine on 8, and there is 1 open slot, which is usually Cassante. So if you hit Cassante 2, you usually can go on his back to the 9, and where you cap out with the 5 Prodigy, 5 Battle Academia plus Cassante.
Not sure now on this Ezreal 3 carry, going to be a very easy and reliable segue into the Prodigy board. One of the ways we work the weight is to just hit your thing naturally and then just tempo out. You don't want to reroll obviously more one cost. It does not make any sense at all. The whole benefit of the augment is getting that free tempo to then propel yourself to level 8.
Yeah, jungler being pretty poor, given though it was solo leveling, he didn't get much value. He refused to do certain slams, and it might bite him back. He did get the extra components. He's now just slamming his final items into the Lyres. And I think MOUZ is looking pretty solid here in going into the stage 3, stage 4 of this game.
Yeah, early Leon as well for Lides with a time skip, so also a decent spot. Of course, no items on her. You're still carrying a Malzahar, which without Blooding Jewel, not really too much of a unit, just mostly applying burn and yeah, shred effects. So we see a pretty big loss there for Lides.
Yeah, MOUZ needs those type of artifacts such as Zonia, Blighted Jewel, Mana Zane. Without those, he starts to struggle a lot. It's a good unit for stage 2, stage 3, but you need to have a pretty gargantuan front lane for it.
3-2, important round in this meta. Usually not the case, but in this case now 2 costs are so strong and there are so many stabilizing 2 costs, especially Mundo and Gangplank, that rolling on 3-2 becomes relevant once again. And this is where a lot of players will hit their big power spike.
Yeah, tailoring for the GP, GP2. Didn't find the will BC probably reroll. Hemorrhage is really bad for GP because again he usually one-shots the unit already with the, so Hemorrhage doesn't do too much.
One important note, it's not, you don't want to use the removers in this stage because there's still many power-ups that are like econ-oriented, same as artifacts, for example. The same rule applies. If you wait till stage 4 to use your power-up removers to try and fish for the best in slot, which is stretchy arms, you'll be able to hit with much better odds on stage 4 onwards. So stage 3, you play for whatever you get out of your first selection, ideally Midas to get some extra gold, or just something like Tiny Terra, for example. And then stage 4 on 4-1, you really try and fish for the best in slot.
I wish Jungler rerolled it again, like Taylor did once again, because he has seen Unflinching and Tiny Terror in his first Taylor, and all of those would be pretty good on his GP if he misses on the stretchy arms. So I would like to see one more Taylor and then go for the GP so he can hit those precise ones and doesn't have to go for Hemorrhage, which doesn't really do anything. Yeah.
If you have several of the same tailoring units you can use for GP, for example, I think like you're mentioning, it's ideal to try and have you not hit any of the top like 4, for example, to try and just have better odds of hitting something decent. Because gold farming especially is relevant, right? Even in stage 3.
Padabol is not fully utilizing his argument here with the keepers. You want to stack up the units to get maximum value of the shield.
The wage and special.
We do see GP2 and the rest of the board pretty upgraded besides the Kobuko.
Yeah.
And then on the solo side, it looks like a Kai'Sa reroll, but kind of missed. And items on the Vaitu instead of the Mundo, which is...
Yeah, there's a swap.
Yeah, there you go.
Through here. Probably Mundo was just upgraded on this last PV round. One mentioned that Opal was item carrying the Kai'Sa because he was prepping the Jins on his bench with the prep he got off of the Gold Destiny. So a few Kai'Sas being held, but generally a pretty uncontested unit. And I think it's understandable. The power level is not quite there. Something like a Jin reroll or a Gangplank reroll.
So how soon will we see the Ezreal fall off? Stage 4? Like, he should be pretty strong for this stage yet.
He'll fall off when he needs to, right? When Yuumi comes online, so it'll be okay. It's going to be a perfect baton pass.
I think it's still better than the Yuumi one.
Yeah?
Yeah, I played Ezreal too, like itemized alongside Yuumi too often, and he was like Yuumi 13k, Ezreal 8k in the long fights, so it's not that bad as you would think.
And bullet hell Yuumi, what do you think?
For Yuumi?
Yeah, 1-star.
Depends on items. This is actually interesting, because it depends if you have Archangel or not. With no Archangel, it's geniuses.
Lides has a chance for a Leona pair on stage 3. Very, very strong spot. We just mentioned it. One of the big downsides of potentially of broad prodigies in 4v4 is how important it is to stabilize on Leona 2. Already, more than halfway there basically for Lides.
Absolutely. So we see that the edge is kind of dropping on the lower end of the HP, where we have the MOUZ being like with the Salvi and Lesher on the top, stabilized already, and like Salvi having a really good spot to just fast 8 and will just prolong his dominance. And Lesher having the Ezreal, stabilizing him into also Battle Academia spot is working pretty good. But then Lyres, we see like 3 Battle Academia that this players this lobby.
Yeah. I think a lot of high-low players have been defaulting a lot to Yuumi. It's been a bit more reliable than Sork, which I think has had too high of a play rate. Well, this is Katarina, but yeah, I mean, we see a few Yuumis already online as well.
You still take out the same units. You take out Leona, you take Yuumi, and yeah.
I believe this is the extra HP and size magic roll.
It looks like...
I was looking at this Yuumi, I'm like, wait, is this a Yuumi too? But no.
I know you forgot your glasses, but this is not the case. This is absolutely extra HP on the magic roll, which is the best.
This Yuumi is looking way too thick for a 1-star, and I don't think it's a 2-star Yuumi on 3-5.
Absolutely. And we see Go sitting only on the Katarina too, but this is the spot where you just go 7 and you continue to roll on 7 to find those extra pair of Leona, extra pair of the Katarina, if you are not sitting on extra Rakans and Katarina after initial roll down.
Opal might be sticking to...
Oh, he does reroll on 6, interesting.
Opal might be sticking to the Kai'Sa actually. He had over 9,000, maybe got some good stats on the Kai'Sa, and he hasn't sold yet, it looks like. So there might, weirdly enough, be 2 Kai'Sa reroll players contesting each other in this first game.
Leona 2 for
Selfish
Lyres
should be very good. It's especially good against units that deal multiple kind of damage procs like Karma. Oh no, that's resistance, sorry.
Yeah.
Selfish
I think
the
the more important is, like, frontline are like whatever. I think getting rid of the Skypiercer and going for the real one is important here. Skypiercer is not very effective on Yuumi, especially when you go vertical Battle Academia, because she does a decent amount of the true damage. And the unit that she pretty much doesn't struggle into the those big tanks due to the scaling.
Yeah.
So you want to go for something that will help her clear wider, which is precisely Bullet Hell or Geniuses, depending on the itemization. In this spot, Geniuses would be the best.
Yeah, like we mentioned, stage 4 will mostly be the place for one where players will try and tailor for their best in slot and hopefully hit, if not have to re-tailor and kind of go for a new one in stage 5 when they get to the next remover.
Opal, I think, was it Opal with GP2? No, I was against him.
Opal was Kai'Sa.
Solo holding Katarinas already against the Gaboster.
HP totals very even overall. We saw there quickly on the right. Most players around the 60 HP range, with a few players falling a bit below that, but not too much disparity just yet.
So we see that Solo going in here to contest Opal on that Kai'Sa. This is not looking good for Opal because Solo is on the bigger end of the HP. Itemization-wise, both have Mundo itemized, which is Prio. But like, look at the chains. Who has more chains on their Mundo, which will be essential against all those armor matchups? One player has the Gargoyle, second one has only Sunfire. So technically, Opal Mundo should be thicker.
I'll say first and foremost, it's not looking good for EMEA. Why are players contesting Kai'Sa reroll in game 1 of their series? But if you don't hit Jins, this is kind of the fallback plan. And Kai'Sa, in the setup that Opal has, where he's been prepping her, he has over 9,000, he got the right stacks. She can be strong as well. Although, obviously the star of the show is really Mundo. He's buying so much time for Kai'Sa to do her thing in the backline.
Yeah, but like, I think it's more of Solo contesting Kai'Sa on purpose, just to send Opal
of course, yeah. They're not
so it's like Opal is like both players were doing the correct play, and there's just a counter play to the correct play.
Exactly. In TFT or in 4v4 especially, most of the times you'll be seeing a player that has a doomed spot and another player that will have an equally doomed spot on purpose. And as long as you outplace that other doomed player, you're doing your job for your team.
Exactly. Not a usual play you'll see on your ladder games, but will be very often you'll witness here throughout the next days.
5 GPs for Wet Jungler, farming gold, saving HP, which is oh so important in 4v4. Has Spear's Wool as well, a great setup for GP, the extra mana to cast more often, the extra AD to deal more damage on those casts.
The issue is he has no attack speed. This GP will not scale too well without Rage Blade. It's good GP to farm, but it will fall back. He needs to find that Rage Blade or Flicker Blade.
Portable Forge is an option for Lusher.
And he will go for it.
Yeah, has a chance for...
Hell Crusher perhaps, or Arms Guard for the Leona. We'll go for Locket. I don't think you get enough cast to justify it. I think that's the weakest of the choices.
We'll see how it looks.
Maybe he pivots into Mundo too.
Come on, Alan.
I mean, isn't Mundo the tankiest with those items?
Karma 2 for Salvi. He says, there's no more amp, no problem. I'll find another very reliable and strong AP line to play into. Magic Experts, if he has the ideal setup with JG and Guardbreaker, usually the best option. Efficient is number 1.
No, I don't think it's better than Shadow Clone.
Yeah, you have to pick before the game starts. Nope, he goes for Magic Expert in the end.
Oh, they nerfed Shadow Clone. I just noticed it's 25, not 35 anymore.
From PB, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was always thinking it's 35. Whoops. I think it's still pretty
not
strong.
quite the best in slot, unfortunately, for Gobo. So he's really been low-rolling his components on Wolves, especially. QSS, Gunblade, and Edge of Night. You have very little damage. And yeah, Yumi, I didn't notice until then. So maybe he should have picked Pandora instead of his teammate.
Oh. Oh, and this is... Oh, Opal did hit everything with the help of the heroic grab back.
And this is a Giga scaling Kai'Sa, right? Her kit, her ability herself scales, gives her extra AD. She has over 9,000. She's scaling in different stats as well. And she has prep, so she has a big burst of extra stats to come through. So this Kai'Sa might look a lot better than the Kai'Sas you're playing on your boards. There's reasons for that.
Yeah, with the Mundo being the Giga tank on top of that, wish we knew how much mana regen she got, because again, that's the essential stat you want to get on the casters from it. On like AD is not that good. Attack speed would be okay-ish, but then like the mana regen is where it's at, so she can continuously cast.
HP totals again very, very even. 68 for Salve at the very top. And Gobo on 49 in the 7th place position. Lidet's falling off a little bit more on 34 right now.
So we see Regenerative Mundo, which is big Giga Beast, especially on the 3-star. And with those items, I'll be very surprised if this Mundo will fall to the Sor Karma. Karma will be casting here multiple times, and I don't think she can take down this Mundo at all. He'll just outscale, and probably could solo this whole board without Kai'Sa's help.
Yeah, Declaw you're healing, Spirit Visage you're healing, getting a lot of value from Regenerative because of this as well. You have Declaw for the MR against any AP comp, and Karma does not have Best in Slot. And this is, you always hear, oh, Best in Slot is so important for units in TFT, blah, 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 but especially in Karma, she has to blow up the front line to then get the extra HP% damage on every other unit on the board, basically, thanks to the 6 Sork.
She needs to get that chain explosions.
Exactly.
If she doesn't, Sorks look so weak. Like sometimes you might be wondering why like other people's Sorks look so good and mine looks so weak. It's matter a lot on the positioning, and when the opponent's main tank is tanking those spin blades and not being able to get off that first proc. That's why Gwen is so important, so she can get those explosions from other units, from the back lane towards that front at the end.
Looking at the roll down here from Gobo, who's one of the players near the chopping block for Aegis. Has to try and find some of these upgrades, especially for what is going to be his main carry, Katarina. Although, yeah, the itemization, again, not ideal. You have bad items on both of your carries. You only have one item on your tank to buy time for Katarina as well. And for anyone wondering about the positioning, this is very similar to the Golden Ox Graves positioning, the Moses positioning last set. Basically, you're trying to split the front line, have it walk up a lot, and then have Katarina have a better chance to teleport into the back line. And
the importance of this combo is getting unstoppable on your main tank that's in front of the Katarina. So like units will follow up the unit that has unstoppable, and she can walk up, teleport after those units, and she has a clear access to backlane. But it's important to have those combo on the side of opponent's carry. If they dodge it, oh, it's looking rough, unless you can fight a genuine fight front to back.
Yeah. Lides and Gobo both look to be in trouble, both on this Battle Academia line, although slightly different variations. Salve, we mentioned it, has lost 2 fights, but did get fairly fortunate with his roll down, considering he had no real true econ augments. He found a Karma 2 very easily, and that's really the crux of the comp, to be able to go 9, fit in a Bastion, make your Swain tankier.
Paddleball has really good augments for the comp, however he's struggling on finishing of the comp. Having 1 of GP, 4 of Yasuo, no items for Yasuo, so it's not that important, but does have the Kobuko, which is pretty good. Yeah. And that 8 Rocks coming clutch as a trade bot.
Items removed, trying to see who he's facing. Is going to be facing Lusher with the Innovating Locket. We'll have a chance now, Alan, to see how effective this will be on this Poppy. Who is going to be the holder for it, not Leona in this case. We talked about if you only have a Leona 1, your comp's in trouble, but here where the Poppy is buying enough time for the Ezreal to do enough damage to kill off the GP, for the Yuumi to apply the Shred as well. Can this Yuumi clean up though? Can the Poppy stay alive for long enough? I mean, she is tanking so much damage.
I mean, the problem is there was no anti-heal for Paddleball because Udyr died so quickly, and there was nothing to apply the anti-heal, and the Udyr's anti-heal only stands for 1 second. So the second it's gone, the locket becomes very effective.
All right, fingers crossed for our star students on both of these boards. Can we get better items for Yuumi and for Katarina?
So this is an unusual side, think like a 4-way contested Battle Academia. And as expected, every player struggles to upgrade their Yumi. Lyra's being fortunate enough to find the Leona 2 and Cassandra 2 for that front lane. However, the items are not very optimal, but they are not too bad as well.
We already got the better item on the Katarina actually from Salvage Bin. He disassembled, let's say, the QSS and now has a guard breaker on Katarina. So her items now are okay. Although you'd love to maybe pivot off this Gunblade to Yumi and have a Hodge for the extra crit chance on the Katarina itself. No Yumi 2. Oh, never mind. Finally has found it, Lides. We'll see now if he's stable enough, can finish off the Crown Guard, I assume, on this Leona, one of her best tank items, to just buy a lot of time, get bigger shields as well. Oh, will be Stoneplay.
This is very surprising. With Battle Academia, she gets a lot of scaling from the potential. So not going for the Crown Guard might be just a mistake.
Especially when you're playing kind of 4 frontliners in this setup, especially where you're not like solo frontlining her.
Exactly.
Or she's not getting full value.
So basically, this Gargoyle became a lot better this set because of the reintroduced tanks, fighters, and casters.
Uh-oh, Eon procced already. Katarina is at the mercy of GP. She has teleported a little bit further away. She is trying to heal HP, so she isn't the target. Yumi, unfortunately, gets hit instead, and there's a lot of damage that Katarina has to do here to try and win this fight. And it looks like Potable is in full control. Every single one of his units, so much tankier, thanks to keepers as well. Despite it being kind of great positioning for Katarina to just come in to the entire team and ult on everyone, not quite working out there. And Gobo, unfortunate first elimination. Not too surprising considering his items were just really not up to par.
We've talked about how GP2 is stable throughout the stages, even on stage 5, but keep in mind this lobby is particularly weak because players are in heavy contention between each other. This is another Battle Academia players, and that hit everything, and everybody else were just weak, unable to hit, because each players or each teams were griefing each other on those reroll units and being unable to hit.
I have to say, it's a small thing, but I really like the creativity Lusher's displaying here. I think he already knew that Innovating Locker was quite good on Poppy, especially with this item setup, and he's using her as a main tank over Leona. I think Leona is just not very good at Innovating Locker with how her kit works, so really interesting for this setup. Here, the Poppy not quite surviving long enough with the burst of damage coming from the Kai'Sa, but Yumi should be able to clean up here, double scaling on both her ability and the Archangels, and that is going to be a win against Solo.
I think it's not the case of as much Poppy being better user of the Locket, but the issue might be... Okay, we just want to see this GP2 farming absolutely everything out of that Mundo. But he wants to preserve removers. We know that he's ahead on HP, so he needs to keep those removers for the teammates. So once he removes those items from Poppy, they will go to Leona too. However, it's not worth to use the resource as valuable as a remover in 4 vs 4.
Even with the Bramble Sterex item setup, you think? I mean,
yes.
If you're vertical battle, you kind of have to.
Like healing on the Leona when she scales infinite armor and resist is a lot better.
Solo on his last life, White Jungler on his last life. 1 copy away from GP, hasn't quite been able to hit. We'll see if these players are facing each other. They're not.
That'll be a ghost.
The GP battle here between White Jungler and Potable's GP. Both 1 copy off of their 3-star, both on 2-star copies, but Potable maybe with the better augment setup, has the crit chance, has the extra armor off Keepers, and Yasuo doing a lot of work as well. White Jungler, his GP's completely stunned the entire fight. That should be a win for Potable. And on the right side, Solgasung, he's having some problems dealing with his Battle Academy board. Kai'Sa not up to par.
This Kobuko did all the job. He pretty much soloed all the side of the MOUZ player.
Ooh, a lot of emblems coming in here. Supreme Cell, weirdly enough, in this weird Kai'Sa lobby, could be interesting.
Is Kai'Sa even alive yet?
Opal,
okay, it is. Opal is at...
His first pick, but he goes for anti-heal instead, so apparently needs still a way to cut down on some of the healing on these boards.
Players often forget about Super Seal on those units, like Kai'Sa, like the cannon when it's hero.
I think it's for a reason.
So like we see that Lyres has a pretty much win-out spot given the arguments, items, and like he can go 9 for the 5 Prodigy, which is the Giga win-out spot.
It did take a long time to get this board, right? He was stuck on 8 donkey rolling for a long time. That might hinder his chances of making it. Potable, understandably so, once White Jungler has been taken down and all 8 of those GPs are back in the pool of units, he's able to easily hit his GP3. Has a chance now to item swap a little bit, it looks like, or no, just remove for
removing
teammates.
For the Lyres.
And then you see Solvi is in line for this GP to just dominate this fight yet again.
So basically, in this game, I believe Padeball and Lyris has 1-2 spots. So just to make sure, they have to make sure the matchmaking. Oh, wait a second.
GP's healing, maybe wrong side. Karma has enough burst damage, and she will cast one more time to clean up everything.
I spoke too soon.
Well, Padeball still has a lot of life to work out the positioning kinks there.
You want this HP to go towards your teammates, not for the opponents.
That's true.
I'm actually surprised that Karma managed to get through the extra shielding from Keepers, GP free. That is unusual sight. We need to see what's the Salvi's power up on the Karma, because that was pretty strong.
It's Magic Expert, so understandable that he has that much more extra AP.
No, it's efficient.
He changed it, okay. So it is efficient. We'll be casting more often.
And it's power up on the Swain too. And being no armor real items. Is it just Healing Corpse doing all the work with the 2-star Brown?
And Resistance is going to be stronger against Yuumi if he has Yuumi in his matchups. There is the case of tailoring your power up for matchups, right? Specific matchups when it comes to stage 5 and stage 6.
And Lyris facing Padeball. So this is really bad. This is the worst matchmaking for them because Padeball just used his remover against the Salvi, and now he couldn't use it for this matchup.
Yasuo, it's a teammate, Yasuo!
Oh no! And actually Lyris will go down as the second strongest player probably from the AEGIS.
Yeah.
This is the absolutely worst case for the AEGIS matchmaking.
Yeah, and now we're seeing even parity, right, across the teams. 5th place and 8th place, and a 6th and a 7th for MOUZ. So it all comes down to this top 4. It all comes down to who can be the win-out player. That's the most important thing in 4v4. Usually, at least one player has to have an angle to win, a chance to win off of his setup coming into stage 4.
Does MOUZ have enough HP and removers to make it work? Like Lesher has only one, like he doesn't need to remove, like it's a matter if Salvi has enough removers for the Lesher, because now this will be all matchmaking. They have to send Opal 4th essentially. There's
also ways to weaken yourself without removers, which is your positioning. There's cases where if Karma's stuck on your main tank and not on the weaker tank where you get the chain explosion, that could be obviously a better setup. So a lot of communication will have to come through for both teams.
Lesher is facing Padeball. So this will be very important. We see there are very good items against the GP. So Padeball can't really reposition his whole board with Keepers. So as long as we put that Leona on top of the whole clamp, she will tank forever, the GP.
And because Yuumi does not have as much burst damage, she's more skilled into the late fights, I think it's up to Ezreal to potentially burst GP at some point and proc his Edge of Night before so Yuumi can clean up with her bigger cast.
And Salvi might struggle into this Mundo free with the Karma because there will be lack of the explosions.
Important fights coming up here. Can the Ezreal target the GP earlier into the fight? Can the Yuumi clean up? And can the Leona tank enough with the innervating locket setup, the Sterak's, and the Bramble especially against this heavily AD comp from Padeball? We'll have to find out. Kai's on the right, scaling the Rage Blade, trying to buy some time, but the Karma's just dealing too much damage. It's a win for Salvi. Looks like it's also a win for Padeball. The backliners are down for Lusher. And that's 2 big losses for both teams. Lusher's still alive, though, it looked like.
So now Salvi needs to win out the lobby for the MOUZ to
Is Lusher alive? No,
win.
Lusher's down, yeah. He was on 8 HP.
Yeah, but MOUZ can still win out if Salvi goes first.
So Salvi with the Karma board, with the 6 Orcs, with this very explosive Karma we're seeing, has been able to deal with this GP board last stage. Can he do it again in stage 6? That's the big question.
It's interesting enough, it's thanks to Gwen, he was able to deal with the Juggernauts board. With the Mundo was the last unit to die, even though it was the solo frontliner. And Padeball positioning the Kobuko straight into the... Oh, just griefing into the Opal, yeah. I think you don't want to... Like, this is irrelevant, like you just want a stronger player to face against Karma. So it's just a matter... Is Mundo beating the Karma?
No, I don't think so.
So like you want to suck... Okay, but the problem is you don't want to take Padeball HP because there could be some fight RNG. So like you want Padeball to have extra fighting chances against the Karma.
Yeah, I think this is wrong. We just saw the fight between Opal and Salvi, and Salvi won it pretty convincingly, it looked like. Even with the Mundo, with the perfect tank setup against the Karma. So I think you're right. I think that was the case.
And there is Yasuo free angle as well.
Opal should have weakened his board to buy Padeball more time.
I think he should just sell his board and like hold only free cost to help him hit Yasuo.
Maybe with resistance against all the Karma procs, it's one of the best power-ups. We'll see if Opal went for that. This is what we're talking about.
He's the last one dying. Maybe unstoppable to just go into backline. I don't think those frontliners do anything. He's the last unit to die. It's not the problem that Mundo chains dies and chains explode into the rest of the board. It's the problem that Elrader board dies before he does.
Yeah, to other Sork damage.
It needs to be I think unstoppable. Nothing else helps.
All eyes on Salvi especially. He is the one that dictates the outcome
And
of
outpositioned
this
Opal.
game number 1. Salvi once again against Opal. We just saw this fight 2 rounds ago, but we have the same outcome with Salvi winning. Karma on the weak side of the front line, able to blow up most of that front line. Gwen's still alive despite not having Edge of Night. Does she get another cast off? That's the big question. Kaisa almost down already, but Mundo is buying a lot of time. Is it going to be enough? It's so close.
Oh, the
Kaisa's now down. The Mundo is trying his best. He has one more chair in him. Does he get it?
No more
Mundo
chairs,
down.
in fact. And Opal will go down. It's a matter of killing that Gwen before Gwen kills of the Kaisa. And we've seen that Kaisa was just blown out by last needle from Gwen.
Is it a Gwen 2 already for Salvi?
Not sure, but if it will be...
I think it's not, because Titans is not a very good item for Sorcerer, so that means we're just picking that up for the unit. And a Gwen 2 could seal the deal in terms of having a second source of big damage outside of just Karma.
Not just yet. That's a pair of Karma. There is Jarvan too. Titan is okay on the Swain. He absolutely can use all the stats from it.
Yep.
Armor, resist, AP, all good.
Positioning is the more important part here. Yasuo can sneak into the back line. GP obviously with such arms, you can't really position around him. You have to hope that you have other lower HP units for him to target. The bigger thing is, just trying to have your fly on the right side to buy time for Karma. This is the classic positioning we saw last set as well with Marksman, with Yefelios on the right side.
This Gwen might die from GP here if there is reposition. There is no reposition. Gwen is Giga save. Very good positioning from Salvi.
Oh, that is GG. Gangplank. He has stretchy arms and stretchy legs as well, apparently. He just walked up to the Karma. A big positioning mistake there. And maybe an outplay, right? I'm not sure how
he's
GP...
if you put
it's the unstoppable. It blocked hexes when it moved up, and I think this is what caused GP to walk around the hex that Kabuga was in. I'm not sure, but
you can also wrap, like if there is this positioning and if you put a unit in the third and second row, it can actually walk to the back lane if there's enough of the moon shape of the units.
I think this is one of the positions that is default for many players because it's so obvious that your unit is safe that it's impossible to wrap into in most cases, but I think Unstoppable changed the logic there.
This was an absolutely crazy experience. Anything could go either side. We thought Salvi got it locked in, but at the last second, Padable, the player who we thought could be the anchor of the team,
the mental fortitude,
or the doom of the team, and he pulled it through.
The mental fortitude. So I'm gonna dish this one right back at you.
No. I said that Potable on Team Aegis, he was gonna be the player to anchor the team, the adult to lock everything in, and he got the win at the beginning. So
they did lock it in. This is a good start for AEGIS to start off this BO3 match. And in general, I mean, MOUZ was pretty close though. You gotta give it to them as well.
I mean, it could go either side. We've seen Leisure being on just the virtue of HP. The fights were very close, and it was quite an unusual lobby because it was very heavily contested between the own teammates, even going for the same units, such as even Katarina going for the Leona too. Even Voki could just opt only for Rakan as a main front lane and let the teammates have the Leona.
And I think overall, all the Battle Academia players low-rolled for different reasons, either item components, the artifact for Lusher, the Yumi 2 for Lides as well. So I think overall it was a weird lobby in that sense, where I think Aegis low-rolled a bit more, but Potable had a very good spot and he kind of carried their team through basically.
I think important to notice that Opal had the no econ argument except the last one, Heroic Grabback, and he managed to hit Kaisa Mundo before Solo, who had the econ argument to go for the 2-star, 3-star earlier, and even though Solo was trying to stop him, he failed to do so. Yep. And just sheer amount of the power that comes from the power-up and the argument allowed Opal to top 3, and honestly Opal and Padable been the highlight of just pulling off the rerolls to that top 3 elevating, being able to outscale that Sork eventually.
I think as well something that we touched upon earlier was the fact that if there is any team that's going to sit down and be like, okay, it's not that they got lucky, it's just the fact that they played this better, it's going to be a team like MOUZ. So from my perspective, I would like to know what are the things that you think they should have done differently in this game specifically?
Not just in this game, maybe in that last fight. Not get your Karma kills in the first instance. I think something weird happened with Unstoppable and how Kabuka moved up, some pathing that was unexpected. I think Salvi is an experienced enough player to not make a mistake that looks so evidently bad visually. So I think looking into that, looking at the combination of Unstoppable with Kabuka and in future games with GP, which we'll be seeing a lot of, maybe not doing that exact positioning with Karma so alone in that right side.
I mean, it's just a too big gap in the front lane between the side of the board and the middle, and just units being able to walk up. And even though AEGIS had a insane type of a low roll matchmaking, because we've seen one of the players removing the items the turn before to suck the HP, and when they faced each other, where Stellaris got eliminated by the teammate, even though that this exact same teammate was removing for him turn earlier. So they made it work even through the matchmaking low roll.
Yeah, I think as well then when we're looking at this, it is a great start for AEGIS, but of course it is a BO3, so still a couple of, well, at least maybe one round that they have to approach this in terms of being able to close this out. I think as well you touched upon seeing a lot of GP. Are we expecting any adaptations here from both of these teams? Because that was the case for the first game that we've seen, but then, you know, the second match went a little differently. We saw Katarina come out instead. Are we expecting changes here from either one of the teams?
More GP?
If you have a spot to play, there will be at the very least 2 GPs per lobby.
Okay.
The entire tournament, I don't think there's any situation, unfortunately, where that won't happen. There could be a third where you're playing GP2 and not playing the full mentor comp, but just playing GP, maybe NAR items into GP as an item carrier, where you're both contesting these very important units, but also having a strong unit that can farm gold in stage 3 and 4.
We see the wrap up here. It just woke up. The unit just walked up. It was unstoppable, in fact. He charged through, but like the moon, the banana positioning from the units and being able to just walk up was enough.
The moon or the banana, Alan? These are very different things.
Look,
in my mind.
like you get the shape.
The moon banana, got it.
Yeah, exactly.
A bit of both.
Yeah, exactly.
Touching back on what you were saying, Alan, I think the most important player in this first game was Opal. I think looking at 4v4, you have, when you're playing a certain combo, you have a certain spot, there's an expected placement you have. GP looking strong, that's going to be a first. Sorks looking strong, going to be a second. But Kaisa being a third, that's the real like high EV that Opal was able to extract from his position, and that's the real winner, I think.
And that's when you low roll Jhin, because he was wanted to play Jhin, but he didn't hit it.
Yeah, he does finish third though, which I mean, to highlight the impact that he's had on this game and then being able to finish third as well, I think still something to really be proud of. But I want to look towards maybe the bottom side more so of these rankings. When we're looking at solo, when we're looking at jungler, what do you think went wrong there?
I mean, Solo low rolled the roll down. Like, it is what it is. He hit Vi instead of hitting Mundo, instead of hitting Kaisa, where Opal actually hit the more units in the shops. So Solo going 6th is absolutely expected result, even though he had a good early, he just didn't hit. And on the jungler side, he was trying to play GP. He had the weak early because he picked solo leveling, he didn't have upgraded unit, and he refused to slam Titan for the tempo to try to get more value out of the solo leveling, which might have been the bane of this game.
Yep. Overall, I think low roll was the name of the game for both sides for different reasons. I think the expected return on their rolls, on their item components were a bit low. I think game 2 will have higher cap boards overall and better game plans.
All right, well, that's it for our first match here when we're looking at AEGIS going up against MOUZ. We're going to be back with the second one, so make sure you stick around because we're going to be back after the break.
Everybody know we gon' do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. Everybody know we gon' do it like this. Straight from the underground. Everybody know we gon' do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. Everybody know we gon' do it like this, do it like this. Straight from the underground. Everybody know we gon' do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. Everybody know we gon' do it like this. Straight from the underground.
AEGIS take the lead in this best of 3 against MOUZ. EMEA versus EMEA, the clash of the region. Welcome back, everybody, to TFT at EWC. I'm Ginny. We have both of you here that have been breaking down everything so far that we've seen from the games. And honestly, my question just remains when it comes to this second match here. We would like to see MOUZ step it up. What can they do differently? What should they do differently to actually equalize this and maybe go over that reverse sweep?
Just have a quick dial to Mort on the line to just shake things up.
You're going to use your one call to Mort Dog on the first series of the tournament? Come on, Alan. That's some rookie stuff.
You go to the millionaires, you have to sometimes do the lifeline on the first one to the friend. Like it might be the case for this one as well.
My correct answer, or more unspecial answer, would be positioning. We saw, obviously from Solvi, I mentioned already, that last fight, but even from what Jungler, that one GP matchup that could decide it all, where it has got Kabuko stunned and then Yasuo stunned, and the GP just died before he even did anything and scaled to Rage Blade at all. That was a bigger thing as well. It's hard. I mean, 4v4 is already difficult, but then you add power-ups, you add the APM you need on 4-2 and on pivotal rounds to do everything at once. It's just very difficult.
I think it's just the greed being on the jungler side this game, where refusing to slam or with the solo leveling like a Titan, which is a pretty good item when it's your own unit. You have enough Omnivamp, you have enough stats to scale it out, and just not doing that, missing a lot of value on XP, saving extra HP, and overall preserving the icon so he can actually make a more significant role on the 6 and stabilize. And taking that HP away from the opponent's team might have been pivotal. And then just like a few hops and bumps that both teams went through, and the end just mattered slightly more for MOUZ.
On the side of AEGIS, they're all smiles and happiness because they know that they have that at least one game lead if things do come to that final game. But for them as well, I mean, this is what you want. You want to start off strong. You want to potentially close this out as a 2-0. And then tomorrow feeling a little bit more confident. I think as well, confidence is something that we want to see from both of these teams here on the stage. And losing that first game, it can be a little bit of a hit, especially when it is a different environment than what you're usually used to from playing online.
And I think from the start of the game, a lot of the time in TFT, when you're halfway through your game, you kind of know if you're high rolling, if you're low rolling, if your spot is doomed, if you have a really good spot. Most of the players on Aegis felt their spot was probably doomed. Most players thought there's no chance for winning this, and when you end up winning the first game of the series, you feel that much better because you say, if we won in this game where we low rolled so much, what's going to happen next game if we actually play a normal game of TFT.
I mean, if you look at the Gobo spot, if you looked at the Opal spot, contested Kai'Sa, contested Mundo, Katarina that just isn't coming through because she's griefed. We were so sure that Aegis will be sent out on the first game on the backstage, and they just pulled through the opposites and managed to clutch it up. And it was very surprising because stage 3, I would be betting against them.
I'll admit, I've spent like 200 games already on this new set, which is not healthy. I don't recommend it to anyone at home in a week and a half or so. I have not seen a single time where Kai'Sa was contested, which is all I will say. So it is a strange thing to see. I think the conditions were met in this game for that to happen. But from Opal, yeah, I would be appalled to look across and scout solo and say, why are you contesting Kai'Sa? This is not right.
I mean, just a matter of the question, did solo play correctly? Trying to contest the Kai'Sa.
To bring down someone who's already bringing themselves down by playing Kai'Sa in that spot. Yeah.
And like at the end, he brought himself down, and Opal went through anyway.
Are we still golden, Alan?
The only one dressed up for the gala, I think, is Ginny.
Oh, I'm going to let you guys take this one away because you guys are the casters too, so do your job.
Thank you, Ginny. We're moving into game number 2. MOUZ has to mount a comeback to try and stay alive in the opening match of this group number B, or group letter B. And Aegis has to do what they were doing and hope they get some better item components for their comps coming into this game too, especially for someone like Gobo.
Do we want to see another solo leveling?
I think we can change
with
it
no
up a little bit.
GP to balance it out. No GP solo leveling. Like Aatrox, let's say. Aatrox 2.
Again? Maybe Nefiri.
I mean, Nefiri is too strong.
Okay.
Aatrox is a bit more balanced of a unit because of how big of a trade bot he is.
I would like to see some hero augments. We haven't seen them yet, I believe, on this A stream. Knuckle Duster a bit too strong. I think more of a perfect form. Zach, I know you know.
Give him a chair? No, like it's Golden Gala, buddy.
Oh, true.
Lock in.
True. So actually no protagonist and no silver hero augments.
It's either Knuckle Dusters or give him chair.
That's why they paused it. They want us to redo with hero augments.
Right.
Golden Gala, any augments that you are thinking of particularly in 2-1 to start off your game? Solo leveling, obviously. Treasure hunt.
You change a bit the units you'd buy.
Yeah.
Like you'd buy you'd buy less of the Zags because of the no perfect form being available. You would lean away from the. Oh, actually no. I was thinking about no Garens, but like the Battle Academy is such a strong opener now with Garen scaling.
Gold injection here.
Oh, is this full econ?
Yeah.
It might be full econ.
GP pair as well there, we saw.
So whenever it's extra econ, you get more units and more players have chance to hit GP. And we see already 2 players hitting GP, and one of them, what's the power-up?
I stand by my point. I think Potable has a just perfect mental this tournament. He is in the spot to be hydrated, moisturized, in his element. Stretchy arms on his GP. This is a player who just won game number 1 off of GP reroll. Most likely will be the player on Aegis playing for it yet again. Solo, I believe, is the player going to be contesting him with GP pair on stage 1.
Okay, it's not aura farming. It's either prep or hefty.
I think it's you only have one GP, right? So prep is a little bit worse in terms of the time you're buying. I think it must be from this spot.
I don't like it. I think you just put it on the bench. You don't put it on the bench.
You have no slams. I think it's fine to pick Raining Gold here. Just sack until 3-2, 3-2.
I mean, you can prep the later GPs and just throw it like when you combine it. Like prep is so good in this comp.
That's true. They just use so many different stats well.
And the thing is, you want all 3 combat arguments with GP because like you're gonna be stuck on GP2 for a very long time. So you want to have a maximum power of it. And what is that monstrosity on my screen?
Light Shield Crest on a very, very strong Mundo. Mundo, of course, with Portable Forge, just you have to insta-pick it because there are so many win-out augments, or artifacts rather, on Mundo. Innovating Locket, very strong. Even what looks like a 4-fun artifact, like Talisman of Ascension, can be strong on Mundo because of the extra time he buys with Luchador and just how tanky he is overall. He buys so much time to proc it, basically, in so many of the fights.
But this one is also very important because how long he lives, he will proc often the shield, and it's the main weakness of the Mundo comps. The backlane dies before Mundo.
Exactly.
And that's the one item that actually will help your team.
We're seeing here Mundo just throwing these shielding orbs to his backliners, making sure that if, something wraps into the backline, or if there's chip damage, or if there's GP trying to one-shot Gnar or Jhin, there is that little bit of extra safety outside of just Luchador proc on Gnar.
Absolutely. We see the Worth the Wait Lucian. Will it be... Wait, is it Lucian? It has to be Lucian. Is it gonna be Worth?
Sork, it could be Kennen.
I mean,
right?
he wouldn't put power up on the Lucian right away, would he?
It's
Oh,
Kennen,
it is
yeah.
Kennen.
I
Hold
mean,
up.
I think he would just wanted to... Pursuit is just very strong on Lucian for stage 2.
He just dashes like...
No, it's strong.
Okay.
And it looks cool, you know? You get some extra style points for
Okay.
your fans at home watching.
I mean, I've seen often him just dash towards the backlaner and die, like Pepega.
That's a positioning diff.
Oh, he was in the same corner that Opal is now.
He's French though, so...
Oh, yeah, that explains everything. So, what are we thinking about here with the cannon?
Lires
Sorks?
also worth the wait.
Severe.
He just said, you know what? We have a chance to... We're one game up. Let's have some fun.
I mean,
little bit
the
of
thing is,
a-
you want to pick a good tempo argument. Like, Worth the Wait on the one cost is very premium. And Cannon will lean towards the Sorks, will stabilize the mid game, which Sorks are not very strong without like a proper itemized Lucian or Lux or Syndra. And then we have Severe, which might lead into fast 6, roll on 6 with the crew.
And the crew is considered to be a weak comp right now, despite it being kind of that easy reroll comp in this set 15. But certain things enable crew to be very, very strong. One of those things is hitting like Build-A-Bud into a crew unit, obviously worth the wait as well, because you are immediately getting your 3-star, or very quickly getting your 3-star in the case of Worth the Wait in stage 3. And it means you're immediately getting that extra XP per roll off of the crew having that first 3-star. So you're able to play much higher tempo, you're able to preserve a lot more HP, which is more important in 4v4, and you hit a much higher cap overall.
The priority though is Malphite items.
Yeah.
The problem is he has had bow and glove. He needs to prior those chains, belts, cloaks from the carousel. Probably chains. Bramble is just very important due to the GP being so dominant.
Yeah.
And then solo with no slams is just win streaking.
For those unaware, Malphite's, I believe it's 30% extra value from armor as a stats off of his passive, which is why
20
chain...
per component.
Yeah? No, that's Vi.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, he gets
it's
the...
30%.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was, maybe he was getting magic resist? There was some, I don't think it was 30%.
You're not part of the crew, that's for sure, Alan. You are...
I'm the impostor.
You are not invited, yeah.
Gotcha. We'll see that Solo needs still a bow or a BF.
Bo went to Potable, who
well,
was the
GG?
GP Whisperer.
Cloak, just need to drop two bows, no problem.
This is one of the problems with playing GP tempo. Yes, you can farm more gold. Yes, you can preserve HP. But if you are unlucky enough, or if the other team in a 4v4 setting is playing correctly, you are not going to see many bows on carousels, which means you're going to have a very hard time finding best in slot gangplank, which is very, very important.
I mean, still, getting items for Kabuko is not the end of the world. You can wait with the GP. GP2 just on his own does plenty, and we have the combat argument. And picking up that early mech will allow to perfect utilization of the friends.
Yeah, best friends all across the board. And a GP2, no item slams, but we'll see if this is will still be strong enough to continue winning rounds, or at the very least to farm a few extra gold per turn.
Oh, we are not getting through that Mundo, are we? Ah, there's no damage, but there is no anti-heal. But the Mundo is scaling. There is still Luchador to proc. Yeah, I think the Mundo is chilling.
And this is Gobo once again. he has to slam Rabbit on Mundo in an AD comp. I think he's maybe not going to be playing for...
I mean, it's going to be Kale tempo probably, no?
Yeah.
Fast 9 the Kale.
AP is good on Mundo because it scales his healing.
Yep.
So that's what we saw. And we're going to be seeing, I think, throughout this tournament, sometimes Archangel slams on Mundo. Because if he has enough tankiness and enough kind of tank component stats, he can instead index into having kind of an infinitely healing unit on every ult.
Yep. The maximum HP, you pair it up with the maximum healing, and then it's a beast. And then Gobostro will be looking into locking in a full 5 streak, given that he's fighting against 2 teammates, which will definitely not grieve the streak, and then it's just a matter of the question if the jungler can be strong enough to take him down. But this Mundo is looking way too scary, and he will give them a chair.
Yep. One or several for some units, unfortunately.
I mean, getting early Jhin, getting early Gnar, like we see that Gobosser is utilizing just the traits such as even Wraith to get the extra damage coming in from the Jhin, because he has all the tankiness, he's just lacking a bit of the damage. And we'll end up going against the Lyras and we'll take the full 5 streak.
Yeah, one of the most efficient, I would say, like full traits setups in stage 2 that you can get with early cost units in terms of getting a lot of value from all these different horizontal traits, let's say. We'll see now as we move to stage 3, especially for Lides, what he's able to hit in terms of the crew, in terms of the mall fights. We see a Kennen 3 already online for Opal. This could essentially be just playing into Sorks with some little bit of extra frontline and some extra damage as well with Kennen, his zaps. Not the worst hit, right?
Okay, no, okay. Like Weijan would have something to say about this.
Well,
I'm sure they are not
thankfully there's no
bite.
artifact anvil encounter, and Opal is not tempted to. Anyways, this is the one spot where you would play Horizon's Focus Kennen because you don't have to roll for it, and you're getting it for free. But
So,
that's a different story for a different day.
Absolutely. So we're gonna see probably there could be some rare case of playing a reroll, some kind of smolder with Kennen 6 protectors, but most likely we're just gonna see Sorks. Also item dependent, but we see the items are pretty solid. We have red buff, we have Shojin, and just like 2 defensive components. Could be Nashor as well, Shojin.
I think you want to save the. We talk about how important the Abyss is for Karma. I think you want to save the belts.
I don't
For
think
Guardbreaker.
you are way too far to
That's
go
true,
for
because you go for JG first.
0 rods, 0 gloves. Like this belt is not.
At the very least, you wait until 3-2 just to see if you get big grab bag, if you get Pandora's, maybe even if you want to go for that.
I
to
still
fix your
don't think you
items.
have time to roll with Pandora. If anything, you just wait with the slam in case you get like 1-2 buff, so you don't want to slam red buff. And you might go for like Titan for front lane, like Swain.
Potable as well. Ken Slam, Even Shroud, going to consume that one cloak that he had, so Kraken Slam a little bit further away.
Bramble is
for
pretty
now.
good. He's greeting the Eon though. He's unwilling to slam.
He's playing Lides here. I think he knows how strong his spot is, playing GP as the GP player on Aegis, so he allows Lides to get maybe an extra life, maybe just dealing less damage, depending on how this fight goes. With the
I
Sivir
mean, he
3.
wants to extend the loss streak to 5 here. It's pretty good,
Yeah,
efficient.
exactly.
Lyras has a 1 win streak, so it's very good for Lyras to win here. So like both players getting the best out of it.
And it's a good win as well, right? Almost perfect. The pre-level to 6, 60 gold, gonna be a little bit more, 70 after this comes through, or 75 even. Learn from the best, and Potable certainly has done so across his TFT career. He
rolled
rerolled it. Is it not really strong on?
It's the best argument
Yeah.
for GP.
Surprising. Maybe Pandora's, he just really wants to get back. I think he's playing it safe. He's saying, hey, if I get perfect items, I already know I'm winning. I don't need to index more. But he's pretty low on HP as well, so he's going to have priority in the carousel.
I mean,
I'm not sure if I agree
you
with
are
this.
not taking another combat argument.
No.
GP is good, but like, come on, you are taking 2 arguments that really don't benefit whole board. The whole point of this mentor is like your whole board is strong.
Yeah.
And like it's not one-man army.
Strange choice. We'll see if it pays off for Potable. Right away, immediately is able to get a Edge of Night slam on his GP2, so you'll have a chance to have more survivability, stay alive for longer, farm more gold. 1 bow has been found at the very least for Sologosong. Has the Kraken's Fury slammed already, and here's the GP matchup
Oh, he needs bow and
for
BF
the delight of
still.
our viewers.
Okay, but I think there should be he could only slam Spark.
And
So I
it's-
think he's holding.
Double combat augment for solo, so if both players hit their boards, if both players have similar boards, there should be a stronger setup for Sologosong. That being said, of course, the Edge Knight will help a lot here in terms of...
Doesn't matter,
never
the
mind.
combat argument's already kicking in.
Yeah, Edge Knight already procced, and GP on solo side gets the win there. So big win for Solo, who is trying to preserve a lot of HP in stage 2 and 3.
That is Mundo with the Juggernaut
Unceasing, yeah, very, very strong. A lot of extra survivability.
I think he reforged Death Cap into the Archangel.
He must have, yeah. Unless he has a solid bin still from game 1. I don't think so.
I mean, that's actually better.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you want to obviously get scaling AP over just burst AP because Mundo will scale longer into the fight. And this is the exact setup we talked about. If you have enough survivability with Light Shield Crest and Stoneplate, you have HP from your power-up and standalone. What are you missing? Oh, well, something that can scale your healing as well to make you essentially unkillable. You're a DPS check for the opponent's boards, basically, in stage 3.
Are we sure that Jhin is better than Kai'Sa? Honestly, I've played Jhin bunch of, and I just think he's so underwhelming without Artifact, without the fish
Depends
bones.
on the matchup that you have in the lobby, and it depends if you have Edge of Night or not. I think if Jhin just dies early on, it's like fiasco. and he has like less burst damage than Kai'Sa, I would say.
I don't know, it's just like Kai'Sa was looking pretty impressive last game, and like Jhin, even with artistic KO, if you don't have fish bones, he's like, whatever.
And
Is
we're
this Mundo
seeing,
going down?
nope, he's not. This is what I was going to go to.
No
Kai'Sa
anti-heal.
needs to get kills to scale her AD on her kits, and unfortunately this Mundo says, you know what, I'm not going to give you any.
And there is Midas touch, I believe, on the side of the Kai'Sa, but it will be just not straight up enough. No burn to deal with the Mundo, which is pretty much essential.
All right, big carousel coming through. GP with a BF sword is very, very strong, especially for solo, but we talked about it. He's preserving too much HP. He's last pick. He's definitely not going to get this. There is no rise, so no...
BFGP instantly towards Paddeball.
Surprise,
He loves
surprise.
to see that.
No rise, so no like easy way to get 4 mentor for either of the GP players. There's no...
Bow for them, but solo, that's really strong on the Udyr that he needs.
Not enough defense, I think. I guess maybe they didn't think it was worth the sacrifice, but if Solo does
really
not get a
needed the
bow,
bow.
if Solo does not get a bow from Wolves, it is just incredibly a way weaker comp for the GP setup.
I think it's a mistake.
Especially considering Solo is so healthy that he's going to be last pick on every carousel basically this game.
I mean, we know that, okay, Paddeball played defense on BF, on GP, which was absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Because that's what he needs, he can roll past the item. But then there is rest of the team.
Lides could have, what did Lides pick up in the
It's
carousel?
just
Because he could have definitely used a bow.
defensive component for the
I guess, yeah,
fight.
he had to, I guess.
So it was, like, Gobuster couldn't, his last pick, and it was going away from him.
Maybe Opal?
So it was just Opal or Lyra picking up the bow.
No. Lusher, again, going to be on Yuumi.
Oh, this Yuumi will take it.
This is similar to Lusher and Solo playing a lot of Marksman last set. I think Yuumi is a comparable comp in terms of how stable it is once you hit everything on level 8. So Lusher playing into kind of his role, I would say, within this MOUZ team. And especially this early Yuumi with this item setup is just going to be very, very strong. Replication really helping. I assume he's hit a rod, and that has allowed him to build all these perfect items for this AP carry.
Wait, never mind. I
That
thought this
being
Yuumi
said,
being able to
the
take it
Mundo
out.
has the chair, and the Yuumi is a cat, kind of squishy.
Oh, never mind. This Mundo is not
And,
going
yeah.
down. Well, GG's. Gabo hitting the 9 streak, looking strong towards the full 10 streak. And on the other side, we see Solo having the also pretty hefty streak. So players not hitting
surprising.
each other.
He's able to hit his best in slot despite being last pick on carousels. Has 2 combat augments. Is on 6 GPs already. I mean, a very, very strong spot for Solo. I think definitely in prime position to be either the win-out player or the player who's able to bully and punish a lot of the low rollers in the stage 4 roll downs.
I think Solo is strong enough to take down this Mundo. Like, he has this double scaling item, no anti-heal, I believe. I don't see what's his power up on the GP, but I don't think there's a Solar Breath on anybody.
You'll have the Udyr later, so he's not going to be building anti-heal.
There is Yas on the bench. There is no mentor on the board. Okay, I'm not sure how much I like it. Did he weaken himself against some teammate?
We're going to see the matchup here. He's getting duelist in with the Viego, but we'll see if that's correct. Gangplank going to be on the right side to kill off the weaker tanks. Not allowed to get light shield crest value on all of them for that long, but at some point he is going to be targeted by the Kai'Sa, which is right now, and he is not even on to the Mundo yet. So this is the power of the setup from Gobo. Almost unbeatable in stages 2 and 3. And before any of our viewers at home slam Archangels as the first item on a Mundo 1, understand please that you need to have certain conditions met first in terms of HP and armor and MR to allow this Archangels to be a good item on Mundo.
Already artistic KO on the Jhin, so I think we're gonna see it just hang out there for a bit longer.
Yeah.
He does still hold on Kai'Sa. Just to have those 2 options depending which he hits first, but the Kai'Sa has no scaling, so I would be really doubtful if he decides to pivot at stage 4 with no stacks.
Lusher seems to be really prioing Poppy as a secondary tank he can hit for the roll down with Battle Academia, which it's not something I've personally done, and I think I haven't seen as much.
It has the tankiness that comes from Star Guardian that Syndra provides.
Exactly.
The heal up, it's really important.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And Solvi seems to be slightly open to playing both AP comps, obviously prioing Sorks. Again, very similar roles to what we saw in set 14, right? Solvi playing for the high cap AP comp and Sorks, Lusher playing for the more stable level 8 comp.
I mean, this is higher cap. The Lusher board is higher cap than the Sorks.
If you hit everything on 8 quickly, maybe.
I mean, like if you compare Sorks hit everything and the Battle Academy hit everything, Battle Academy is stronger.
Gwen 2, perfect items.
Yes.
Maybe in their matchup, because Leona's so tanky, but in general, I don't know, I'm not sure what
Trust. Actually, Battle Academy is better.
All right. We'll see it in this game potentially, and we'll see it now maybe even as well. The first indication, Lusher facing off against his
Needs
teammate
to be
Salvi.
Gunblade.
Not slamming all the items just yet, will be slamming triple damage and the healing item on Yuumi, and the Morello going to be going on Malzahar, who's one of the best suppliers. Gwen has been found from Salvi, so that's his one little
that
saving
proves my
grace.
point.
This is not a good comparison.
But look,
yet.
he hit Gwen, he
We'll
hit Swords.
check in stage 5, relax, buddy. And we're going back to Mundo. He still has a chair, but this time there
No
are
teammates.
maybe too many units surrounding him. I hope he doesn't win this fight, or else I might have to walk away, Alan.
No walking away allowed. Gobo will finally lose the streak to the teammate, but this is a good teammate to lose to the streak. You want to now teammates to preserve the HP. You don't care too much about the streak anymore. Like the HP is everything from going from now. Heroic Grabak once again picked up from the Lyres, and rightfully so, because the comp spikes heavily once he hits the 4 crew, and it looks like...
Braum and TF have been found. Weird that Gobo picked it up before rolling more.
Ooh, that's a Shen pair. Just needs one more Ziggs, and he's locked in. And then on the Gobo side, there is already Mundo, there is one of Jhin, and he goes deep.
Yeah.
There is already Braum as well picked up. That Braum will provide so much HP.
It came from the duo Q.
Yep.
And you can play 4 Luchador, 4 Juggernauts, potentially
Rage
6
Blade,
Juggernaut.
Death Blade for the Jhin.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I like Death Blade when you have Rage Blade already for a descaling. I think it's Eon.
Yeah.
With the healing?
Especially in this. Is there really that much backline access in this lobby? I think that's the key indicator of
The
slamming
Death Blade
Eon or
gives
not.
you so little stats.
Look at Cassante, he's onto Jhin, and maybe Cassante will be able to take the Jhin down, unfortunately.
Oh, the healing,
Wait, the
RTC
Hodge
KO.
coming through.
Ooh.
This
I
is a
mean,
big win
okay,
for Gobo.
honestly, Mundo would be able to take it down. The shielding from the Light Crest was absolutely pivotal for this fight.
True, and that could be why he decides to play for just more burst damage
more
at the beginning.
He'll move these items probably to the Lee or Gnar later on.
Yep. For anyone that doesn't know, at home, Jhin obviously not attacking very fast visually, but he has obviously a set attack speed, and Rage Blade will convert attack speed into AD basically. So you're scaling AD at a slightly lower ratio, but still, it's worth it on Jhin.
It's like if you have this Kraken item scaling the damage normally for the units such as Jhin, he does get more scaling from Rage Blade than Kraken itself within his attack rate.
Yep.
1 of GP for solo.
Yep, has rolled down to 0, has found the rise, so not going to be too awkward in terms of setting up his board. But as you mentioned, we saw White Jungler in a similar position, although with way less HP last game, where he was 1 copy off and just never was able to hit. Salvi has been on a losing trend. Looks like he's finally buying some time to stay alive if this Swain can clutch it up here and buy time.
He cast twice. You cannot be expecting much more from the Swain.
Yeah, it's going to be good enough. The chain reaction there. The boomerang effect from Karma. And Mundo, once again, being surrounded and taken down. This is what we were talking about. This is really only an unkillable unit in stage 2 and 3. In stage 4, the DPS check is met by more comps.
There is a TF for the Knight.
Lusher very smartly understands how important TF would be for the crew player, for Lites. Picks it up, yoinks it away.
Also, thoughts on Padable Binge's GP Whisperer. He already has a GP 3.
I'm not surprised. This player has been playing for a long time.
The experience comes in within the pressing D.
Of course.
You have to be a...
You have to press with a diagonal tilt at the end.
Oh, you just have to have a proper angle.
Yeah, changes everything.
Gotcha. Well, definitely Solo will need to get some page from that book because he's kind of still missing on the GP.
One more difference, Potable we saw right away in stage 1, he already had stretchy arms on GP, whereas Solo had Midas Touch, which is better for the early game, of course, but then you have a slight risk of not hitting stretchy arms in the late game, and that's going to be the case here. Has hit the second best power-up, in my opinion,
Tiny
for
Terrors,
GP, Tiny Terror. It's not comparable, but it will be better in stage 4. We'll see a probably removal in stage 5.
Refusing to slam TG. Thoughts for Yasuo 3?
Yeah, that is very surprising.
I mean, like, what? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Are
very
you getting
surprising.
better item for him anytime soon? Okay, maybe he's like, I'm so strong, I
Yeah.
don't even need it. I'll wait for the creeps. I'll try to go for the Giga items, Giga crit.
By the time you do have 3 items, if you build TG now, you'll be weaker overall, right? And
I agree.
He thinks
So-
he's making it to the point where he has 3 items fast enough that he won't be losing too much
Which is
HP.
pretty much after the creeps.
Or if he knows his matchmaking pool for the next 4, 5, 6 fights is going to be mostly Aegis players, it's an even better
I think
reason.
he's taxing everybody equally. I don't think it matters. So now, Lyris did end up hitting everything. He did end up crew. Oh, did Lyris have steel items on Janna?
I didn't notice.
So a reminder, when you hit 3 crew, 4 crew, you want to start moving items towards the crewmates because your damage scales of your crewmates' damage,
Yep.
where the ship does not fire damage of Janna.
Yeah. Janna is not part of the crew. She is isolated.
She's imposter.
Yeah, she's an imposter like Alan. And
Hey!
Leona is not an imposter. She's standing strong, standing alone in the front line, trying to buy time for Yuumi to scale with her Archangels and her own kit as well, where she's firing more bullets. Although not as many bullets as she would if she had Bullet Hell, the strongest power-up for this AP carry in set 15.
Not
Potentially
quite,
can
sorry.
fish for it. Maybe not in this spot because yeah, she has no shred.
When she has the Archangel, it is strongest. Without Archangel or enough AP, it's still Geniuses.
Yeah.
With the 4 or 5 Prodigy, you get more scale, more damage that comes off the scaling with the Geniuses.
And Super
Which
Genius is the power-up that if you have, it converts mana regen to AP basically. And obviously Prodigies have a lot of mana regen.
Yep. And again, that's a scaling comp, so... The problem is the GP matchup, it tends to not be very scaling friendly,
Yep.
so you want upfront power more than the back.
We're seeing now for what jungler.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what was the game plan here. Fast 8 into what?
Ashe? Protector
Protector
Ashe?
Ashe? No. You think?
We did see Lidessa was holding like 6 Kaisers. Maybe he just didn't hit anything and then just
and then
decided
he
to
just
push
go in
levels.
tempo.
And the worst part is you kind of are investing into Kaisa, right? In her ability as a scaling unit. So it feels detrimental to pivot off of it later.
Ay, 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 caramba. This is
There is a
looking
pan, there's many
doomed.
components. Is there a puzzle that what jungler can solve? Well, Solo has solved his puzzle, buying the last Gangplank unit.
Really smart usage of the extra copy, trying to preserve remover.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, didn't hit the correct items. It was 1 in 3.
Unflinching, hasn't hit stretchy arms as well. Only had that 1 remover left in the start of this stage 5. So a bit of a low roll for Solo Gasong. This is one of the
Wait,
punishes.
there's no shot he's relowering through Kabuka and Yasuo. There's literally Padabov having 3-star.
True, okay, because it's contested, but it is a thing of much stronger cap than
Yeah,
pushing
of
levels.
course. But like you are pretty much aware what's going on in the lobby, right?
The full crit Yasuo, i.e. Hodge, and in this case Last Whisper, because there's already even shot, but I guess he just was stuck having to build this item, and Kaisa
Kaisa
gets
gets
soloed 1v1 challenger AI and positioning from Solo Gasong actually, and that should be a fight win off of the damage carrier on What Jungler side going down. What Jungler now entering dangerous territory, will be 1 life, considering we're in stage 5 at 10 HP. Lusher also at 1 life. Things could get very scary for MOUZ, a team that needs to mount a comeback in this game too.
Yeah, tanking the losses, like jungler's spot looks like absolutely an eighth. Just went fast 9 because the Kaisers were held reasonable, so but trying to preserve go 7th and failed to do so because everybody hit. He's still trying, but no gold, no hope. Yeah, I think
Know your
it's-
enemy for Lusher. Maybe this is why What Jungler played Protectors. This is the min-maxing you have to do, no, in TFT to win. Opal up against What Jungler, Lusher up
Still
against
items on
the
Janna.
crew, up against Lides. So 2 Aegis players facing off against the 2 MOUZ players who are on 1 life.
Hear me out. Do we think, because Lyris never plays rerolls almost,
He just doesn't know.
that he doesn't know?
Kaisa's down for What Jungler. He definitely knows he's losing this fight. He's going to be eliminated. Is Lusher going to go down as well? There's so many units left alive. Yuumi has to cast 1 more time. She's still alive. The Gunblade heal comes in. Does she cast? She doesn't. And Lusher is going to be alive, but What Jungler
No.
taken down in 8th place. 3 players left alive from MOUZ to try and mount this comeback and win game 2 and extend this series to a game 3.
Okay, I'm actually locked on the Lyris. Like, you cannot do this.
You think it's just that much
I
weaker?
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the ship is such a big factor of the damage of the crew. And like, when you have 4, this ship actually does carry you a lot. And those are really good items for the
Maybe trying to
crew.
save the remover to pivot the items for when he wants to remove for teammates potentially as well, trying to do both
It's
in
been
one.
too many fights already to not move.
Yeah. We'll see here the battle between Lusher and Gobo. The Archangel was very strong in Stage 2. Stage 3 has fallen off a little bit. Not really going to get the same value from the Archangels as you would in the earlier game fights that are just so much longer and there's not enough DPS to kill the Mundo.
Full HP
Yumi
Mundo.
has a lot of scaling built into her kit, plus the Archangels. It should be enough. As long as she doesn't get targeted down by Jin early, this should be a fight win for Lusher, and it looks like it's going to be the case. Mundo now finally taken down. The snipers are next. Snar buying a little bit more time with his Luchador leap, but it's not going to be enough. Solo Gasong
It's
down
over.
with the GP setup and Solvi down as well. And that is GG, no re. Game 2, it's done and dusted for Aegis. They are coming out
So-
as the victors.
A part of the jungler spot, what do you think really went wrong for the MOUZ? Like, solo picking econ arguments, trying to contest GP. It's Lesher going fast 8, even though he hit, he just faced so much stronger boards.
I'm not sure what went wrong with Solo. He was 95 HP. He hit
No
his-
combat.
He had combat. He was the player that had combat. It was potable with no combat.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Solo
When you don't
Gasong
pick combat, you
had
pick econ.
Water Lotus and...
Yeah, that's the answer. You play the GP now from the econ.
but he hit GP as well. That's the thing. He
Too
hit
late.
GP. He had the items.
Yeah, but there was on opponent's side, there was already Yasuo free, there was GP free, Kobuko free. Like, you cannot be facing that much amount of the power, and you hit so much later because there are so many units withdrawn from the pool. Like, your rolls are so much more inefficient. That's like paying, imagine yourself, for pressing D, you don't pay 2, but you pay 3.9.
Lides and Gobo, I would say, the stars of the show in this game number 2. Gobo did a fantastic job of preserving HP. I think Opal as well, playing into a less meta comp like Akali, making it troublesome for your backline to stay alive, forcing awkward positioning from MOUZ potentially as well. And with 4v4, you can always tell your teammates, hey, my Akali is going to right corner if you have 2 teammates in your pool. And even without removing items, you can kind of weaken your matchup that way. But really, it's Gobo, right? The Archangel Slam, the Light Shield Crest setup on Mundo, and 100 HP coming to stage 4 means that he preserved so much HP for the team total that allowed them to cruise into this dominating victory in stage 5.
Yeah, absolutely. He redeemed himself for game 1, missing on that Katarina. And
It's not his
again-
fault, though. I mean,
I know, but
those items were illegal in a bad way.
Yeah, and not hitting Katarina until the very end. And now it's just carrying the teams to the victory, as you mentioned. And when we have Pat the Ball, just the Whisperer.
Yep.
And then Lyris hitting the worth the wait Severe, which helped the reroll so much. We see that he's already halfway through. Only from pressing D button since level 6, he already managed to go to level 8.5 from rerolling. That's how powerful Crew early is.
I have to say this game 2 from Aegis is kind of the debate game 2, because viewers at home might just play Crew randomly or might play Archangel Mundo randomly without knowing why these were played in this game and not have the same results. It's just so important in the Crew to have something like hefty rolls, to have worth the wait or build the bud into the Crew, because it really propels your tempo so much higher in stage 3, where you're not really bleeding out the 40 HP and then just trying to pray to hit Ziggs 3 on time, to hit a random TF to stay alive, basically. Lides, we saw, came down to 30 HP or so and then had a very, very big win streak in stage 4 and 5.
We see that Lesher at the end will go as 4th, and G's showing the dominance in the top 3 position. Just chilling now, playing for that placement, see who wins out, who has the stronger board, just messing around. They are just chilling, as we see on the camera player screen.
I know Paul may be the X Factor, the real X Factor for this team. Plays a Kai'Sa reroll, gets a 3rd, plays All Casante, one of the strong but harder to play, I think, metacom in terms of when to get into it. It's got the
It requires proper positioning at all times.
Yeah. And a hybrid mix of items. It's kind of like your fallback plan. And a 5th, and it's not a 1st, but this is what you have to do in 4v4.
Yeah, you don't pay attention to players who win out because they can just high roll the meta comp and they win out. This is the easy way to play the game.
Yep.
Like when you have to cook from the bad spot, and as we seen him, game 1 was a horrendous spot. Now he had to just do something.
Yeah.
He went into all out Cassante, take 5th. He's pretty much the spine of the team so far.
I have to imagine maybe Solvi and Solo were taken down by some kind of outposition, not a front-to-back fight against maybe Opal as well, in terms of how early they went out with how strong their boards looked on paper, at least Solo Gasang.
I mean, Solo couldn't, Sully didn't hit too good of items for Karma. He hit one Gwen, one Karma, so he wasn't stable.
And
like,
probably
again,
Karma was sniped by an Akali or something, and that's why he might have gone down as well.
and then we have just Lesher going fast 8, fast 9. He did high roll units pretty much on his level 8 roll down, which allowed him to go fast 9. But it wasn't just good enough, and the rest of the team was too low FHP. The Gobo pressured way too hard early on. Worth the wait wasn't too big of a factor from the Lyres, because again the Sivir with no items didn't have much pressure. It allowed him to make a proper stage 4 play where he's the one pressuring, and Gobo withdraws the pressure that he applied early until he hits.
Look where the items are on Lides's board.
Like,
Alan's gonna have a heated debate with
I really hope
our Aegis player after
our
this game.
interviewer listens to us and he will ask AEGIS about this John itemization at the
We
end.
can catch him on his walk, I think.
Yes, I really want to know why.
I'll let him know.
If I scream loud enough, maybe Lyros can hear me.
Well, our interviewer can hear you, so you're good.
Good.
Looking at these final few fights, Padebol potentially could finish this off as the 1-1, the Gangplank Whisperer King. And again, yes, it's impressive. Yes, we can celebrate Padebol and his expertise in TFT, his longevity in the scene. But you're playing the strongest combo in the meta. One is maybe the expected result from the spot you were in, whereas someone like Opal, I think, pulled out a lot of more positions from the spots he was in. For example, someone like Gobo as well, with his understanding of the Moon itemization in stage 2 and 3, really allowed for just a way better performance that was expected from his comp.
The Death Cap Slam was something not many players would do on the Mundo.
Completely agree.
Reforged tried to get something better for backline for the Mundo.